Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a truly fascinating journey ahead of us today. We're going to start by zooming all the way in on some highly concentrated terrestrial politics happening right here on the ground. And then we're going to just continuously zoom out past our weather systems, literally all the way into orbit, to look at a really powerful example of international cooperation. It's a brilliant contrast of what's happening across our world and above it, right at this very moment. Today's agenda covers three big updates. First, global diplomatic summits. Second, France's extreme heat warning. And finally, a highly anticipated return from the ISS. Okay, let's dive into this. First up, global diplomatic summits. Right now, we are seeing a convergence of some highly significant global figures engaged in direct dialogue. According to our sources, two distinct, incredibly high-profile meetings are taking place. First, Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are meeting at the White House, and separately, we have another meeting happening between Prime Minister Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. What we're observing here are just the raw facts of global diplomacy in action. Key leaders from completely different corners of the globe, each representing their own complex national interests, sitting down for face-to-face negotiations. And this really brings terrestrial geopolitics into sharp focus. We're looking at the intensely human-driven, complex web of relationships that dictate earthly policies. It's a stark reminder of the concentrated power, the heavy negotiations, and the intricate geopolitical maneuvering that happens every single day on our planet. These are leaders tasked with navigating some of the absolute most complex earthly borders and conflicts imaginable. Moving on to our second topic, France's extreme heat warning. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the shift in perspective. We're moving away from those human-made complexities of diplomatic borders, and we're looking directly at the physical reality of the environment we all share. The source data here is brief, but man is it stark. France has officially issued a warning for extreme heat. It really brings things back to basics, doesn't it? While world leaders are meeting in closed rooms to discuss borders and policies, the physical planet itself is reacting and changing. An extreme heat warning in a major European nation like France is a severe climate event. It impacts absolutely everyone within those borders, totally regardless of whatever geopolitical summits are happening elsewhere. It's just a powerful reminder of the environmental realities that govern life on the ground. And this brilliantly illustrates our next conceptual leap. We've just looked at intense political negotiations on the ground, and we've seen the severe environmental challenges brewing in our atmosphere. But it begs the question, what happens above the atmosphere? When we leave the borders and the extreme weather behind, how do humans actually interact? Which brings us to our final section, return from the ISS. We are completely zooming out from the Earth now to look at a successful collaborative mission that is wrapping up in orbit. So the crucial point here is the number 8. This represents the truly impressive 8-month stint that a crew of space explorers just spent living and working together aboard the International Space Station. 8 months is a massive amount of time to be isolated in the vacuum of space. You're relying entirely on your equipment and, most importantly, on your fellow crew members for your survival and scientific progress. Just consider the two groups involved here. A U.S. space crew and a Russian space crew. We started out today looking at complex, often tense terrestrial geopolitics. And down here on Earth, the United States and Russia frequently find themselves on opposite sides of the geopolitical spectrum. Yet up there in the incredibly harsh environment of space, these two crews operated as one unified team. They lived together, they conducted research together, and they successfully completed their mission together. This quote directly from our source material really brings the whole explainer home. U.S.-Russian space crew lands safely after 8-month stint on the ISS. It is a massive testament to what can be achieved through orbital cooperation. Because despite whatever diplomatic friction exists on the ground, when these individuals ventured beyond the atmosphere, they relied entirely on international partnership. They went to space together, and they landed safely together. It really highlights this fascinating duality, the friction of earthly politics versus the necessary unity of space exploration. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final question. We started today looking at a few people in a room in Washington. Then we looked at a massive heat wave covering a European country. And finally, we looked at a cooperative mission returning from the stars. So I ask you, how does our perspective change when we zoom out from a single earthly meeting to the entire planet and beyond? Does it change what we view as our most important challenges? It's definitely a fascinating thought to carry with you today.
Thank you so much for joining me to break down these incredible updates, and keep looking up.